Hello everyone, and you're so much welcome to today's tutorial, and I still remain your shoemaking made easy tutor Odurole Mojibola, and today I'm going to be showing us how I finally completed this beautifully welted sandal. So I'm going to be showing us the kind of materials you can actually use for the sole and how you can actually grind the edges and finish them perfectly well. Now, if you're watching my channel for the first time, please subscribe to my channel and also press the notification bell so that each time I upload a video you will be notified. Sit back and I'm gonna be right back. If you are having any challenges with whatever I taught on this channel, I would suggest that after you have subscribed to my channel, click the join button. Please click the join button and make the best use of that button. I will recommend that if you would love to ask me questions, you would love to be part of an exclusive class where we undo what I teach on my YouTube channel all alone, I will suggest you click the second level of the join button and enjoy exclusive videos of all that happens during the production of each and every footwear or design I create. So today I'm going to be showing us different types of materials you can actually use to create your outer sole. Now that you have completed this, I'm going to be showing us what we have on the screen is called a Mako sole or EVA foam. You can actually use this as your sole. Now, one advantage of this is that it has a very light weight. And it will make the sandal very light and easy for them to wear. Although a wear and tear tendencies are actually very high, it wears and tears easily. So that is one. Another material you can use is what we have on the screen. We call it crepe. You can decide to use a crepe sole. These ones are actually bought in sheets. Yes, they sell them in a particular size. Like the sheet, you can actually buy half of a sheet. You can buy quarter of a sheet. A quarter of a sheet will actually produce as much. It depends on the size of the children's size you are actually creating. It can produce as much as 10 pairs. The quarter. It depends on the size, please. Then for adult it will create like at least four. Also depends on the size. So you can actually use a crepe. The next one you have on the screen is actually the rubber sheets. This actually they sell it in different textures. You find that one side is plain and the other side is textured. This actually is one of those very expensive soles now because they are foreign. That one is quite expensive. So all of them are actually durable. The only thing I'm going to suggest you do is always add a top heel, which is what I'm going to be doing to this particular EVA foam. Always add a top heel, especially for children who are wearing from size 25 upwards. And for adults, it's not something you should negotiate with. Now I need you to know that the ones that I call rubber sheet comes in 3mm. They come in 4mm. So although that one makes them a bit high in weight, those ones are a bit high in weight because of their thickness. So you can decide to use the one that has 4mm for adults. You can use 3mm for children. But when it comes to Mako sole, averagely you find them in about 4mm size. You find some as much as 6 and 8mm size as well. I mean 8mm. I'm referring to the thickness. So let's quickly go into how am I going to actually do what I'm doing today. How do you want to bottom? How do you want to grind? So let's go right into that. So I'm going to be using this particular EVA foam, which is also called Mako sole. You can see it's actually Mako sole. So I'm going to actually be adding a top heel. I've taught us this before. I taught us that if you want to calculate your top heel, you can divide by 3 and use 1/3 of it. So because of the thickness of this particular Mako sole, that's why I'm going to just be adding just a little to this side. This is actually not up to 1/3. This particular place is not up to 1/3. This is not up to 1/3. 1/3 should be somewhere around here. So measure the length of your sole, divided by 3 rather. So whatever you get, use it as your top heel. I will advise that whatever you get, measure in centimeter. Whatever you get, deduct 1 centimeter or 1.5 centimeter from it, then use it as the length of your top heel. I hope you get that. Please let me know in the comment section if you don't understand what I'm trying to say. So I'm just going to put this part. I'm going to apply my contact cement adhesive here and here. Now my top heel is made of all this vulcanized tire. You can see what it looks like. We have them in different, they come in different ways, you understand. Some of them have texture at the back. These are one of those ones that does not have any form of texture. When I'm through, of course, I'll thoroughly clean, and you won't believe it's actually a vulcanized rubber. So let's go ahead into applying our contact cement adhesive. So now they are dry. You can see that you're not seeing anything, so I'm going to go ahead and just place them. Now if you look at this place, you'll find out that I've already grinded this place. Yes, use your rough sandpaper to grind this one so that this can adhere to it properly and perfectly well. Don't just place it on it like this. Please don't place it on it like this. So you definitely have to hammer this down. I know somebody's wondering, you didn't show us how you cut out the sole. Now, all I did was just place this on my sheet. Like I said, it comes in sheet like what you have, just like you are having on this particular table that I'm using. That's how it comes. So you are just going to place it there and cut it out. That's what I did. You can see that's what I did. I just place it and then use this to cut it out, since this is what I want. I actually try as much as possible to cut outside the line, so that, because of course after outlining it, it's better to cut outside the line so that it will be easy for you to trim the excesses off. So I'm just going to go ahead now and also fix the second part. Please make sure you first of all put this top heel. When you get to the market you want to buy, tell them you want top heel. They will sell for you. It depends on what you want. The prices are always different. So the size you want to use, place it on it, mark it out, and let that one guide you on where to grind. So don't just grind using your eye gauge. Make sure you measure, place it like this, draw the line, then you can use that as a guide for your grinding so that it can adhere properly. So the next thing I'm going to be doing is applying my contact cement adhesive on this, and all around it. So now it's dry. Let's go ahead and bottom it. You can see this is going to be here and this is going to be here, just to maintain the positioning. You can see that I'm not allowing the toe part to touch it yet. So you come to the front. So you can then hammer all of this side as well. You can use an anvil Just insert it into an anvil and then hammer all of this side. Now let's go to the grinding machine and see how to grind all of the edges. So when it comes to using the grinding machine, I am going to suggest that you do it gently. One basic precaution you should take is ensure you hold your upper down so that the grinding machine does not touch it. And please hold your footwear firmly, because what can happen is that the grinding machine can automatically, force it out of your hand by the time you start your grinding, especially if you are a beginner. I just want you to know, trust me when I say that, there is nothing to worry about. All you need to do is do it gently. Thank God that you are not competing with anybody, so I would suggest that you do it gently. Go to all those sides that has a lot of extension around. Make sure you grind them. Make sure that they perfectly fit the welt. You understand? They perfectly fit the welt. That is the most important thing. You will find out that the heel is not quite, it's not grinding as fast as the EVA foam or Mako foam. Yes, that's why I told us that when it comes to wears and tear, it wears and tear easily. Before you know it, it's very flat. You understand? But that the presence of that vulcanized tire would actually work perfectly well. Now, before I finally finish all of the edges, I'm sure you can see it's possible that sometimes you grind your edges and you are seeing openings such as this. One of the reasons is because we did not hammer the edges properly, or we did not apply enough contact cement adhesive to be able to hold the two sides together properly. So if you look at this side, I have that same occurrence. So I believe that this is actually an opportunity to show us what this is. So just try as much as possible to get a needle or any object that has just a very tiny tip. So you are going to use it just to clear that side off. I'm sure while you are grinding the edges, you will have noticed it. So at this point, if you say you want to apply contact cement adhesive, your best option for application is going to be something tiny or a needle. Just dip it inside it and try to use it to apply it on all of these edges. Alternatively, you can just decide to use your glue. Just put a drop, like a drop right there, a drop all around it. Then you come and then try to lock it up. You need to be very careful. Make sure it's not much. Just use it to lock that side up. You have to hold it for a while. Make sure you hold it for a while so that it can properly adhere. So if you can achieve that, then you can go back and then try to make sure that you grind the edges, because the truth is that what you have right there, that glue, will permanently be there when it dries off. So you have to still sand that edge to be able to have a perfect look, or you go ahead and dye. But I would suggest that you grind the edges so that all of them will be smooth and they will have the same look. So make sure you hold it as for as long as you think it has properly bond. So now you can see that we have worked on all of the edges and no side is practically opening again. So you can see what we finally have on this our welted unique sandal. Now I need you to know that if you are having any challenges with whatever I taught on this channel, I would suggest that after you have subscribed to my channel, click the join button. Please click the join button and make the best use of that button. I will recommend that if you would love to ask me questions, you would love to be part of an exclusive class where we undo what I teach on my YouTube channel all alone, I will suggest you click the second level of the join button and enjoy exclusive videos of all that happens during the production of each and every footwear or design I create. So thank you once again for joining me today. I'm just going to go ahead and clean everywhere up and then do a packaging and give it a nice shot for anyone who is going to be buying to be able to, admire and then, drop their phones and buy. Thank you once again for joining me today. And I still remain your shoemaking made easy tutor, Ojurole Mojibola. See you next time. Bye. Is it not Davis?
Davis, oh no.